Okay, so look, we've done I guess we've done fine in episode 701 thus far, talking about MC versus MMA. We're on game 5. It's still tied up 2-2. And I would quite honestly say that these positions are just... They're just quite hard for the Terran player. I don't really... I mean, it's very easy to see which direction the Terran player is coming from. If you think about... I mean, to explain why it's hard for Terran, I feel, is just think about how Storm works. Imagine if there is an army that wants to move like this to the Protoss base. Well, cool, we planted Templar here and here and here, and you can't really go around. You just have to eat the storm if you want to head there. So, alright, no, let's not do that. Let's go this way. Well, it's also just like an alleyway. You have to walk towards the storms. There's not a lot of good ways to go around, especially when you're both mushed on this side of the map together. And where is Terran's 5th gotta be? Somewhere over here. Much easier for Protoss to just litter pylons around in this area. Even a pylon over here easily threatens this base up in the top side. So being Terran, MMA does the one build that he has as an option. Goes for Reaper into Expand. MC is going for pretty typical, don't put dudes in the gas so we can get that mineral up and get the expansion going. Nice work, MC. MC going for the very fast Twilight Council. Does one of the hilarious pushes that you want to be like, nah, that shouldn't work. And then, you know, here it is working. Great. 3-Stalker opening. Love it for going into Blink. You have a lot of defense. I mean, you've seen mines. Mine attacks can be really, 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 really annoying. I don't think anything amazing happens at this point in time. I mean, it's the same build as before. It's like 730 double assimilator. As we move back, MMA is just a little concerned about there being blink stuffs, so he just delays a bit. And this is what makes blink openings so strong. You don't actually have to go all in, but your opponent has to pretend like you're going to always. And a scan, and he sees the whole army there. Now MC is going for a Robo, which I think is a great choice as a follow-up for 2 reasons. One, if you go for Zealot Templar, it's a little hard because of how effective mines are against Zealots nowadays. And secondly, look at this. Oh yeah, this expansion is defended really well by a Colossus planted here. It can cover this base and then go down. There's even a cannon at each backside. This is so nifty. There's more barracks coming up in a command center. That's nifty. After getting range in a Colossus and continued upgradings. Yeah, nothing really happens for a while. It's a very tame game. I like opening Blink and going Colossus. I feel really safe. And in the usual MC style, yeah, he gets up a lot of gateways and transitions over into Zealots with charge and Stormy, usual rounding out. But MC just weirdly, when I say weirdly, I don't mean it's bad, I just mean it's unusual. Weirdly, MC is just aggressive as hell about warping in as often as he can. Stays active with this Immortal production, just gets a few Colossus. And you heard me say before, I like if a player has a lot of Colossus to do these multi-pronged attacks, to split the Colossus up. And MC has had a lot of them for a little bit of time. But what I think is quite cool is that MC, or actually what makes this a really hard map to battle Protoss on, is that MC already has the cannon and the Templar like in place. He already has an observer at all the juicy positions. Zealot out front. Another weird thing, MC is only just now getting the gas. Most Protosses love to get gas so damn early so they can get all the Templar. But really, MC's still devoting his time to getting more gateways, to getting more Zealots, still producing a lot. of stuff. This is one of the most passive, normal-looking games that I've ever seen and will ever see. Look at this Templar over here and this Para-Templar over here. And is there a Templar in the main? Well, no, but there's a lot of gateways. That's pretty good. And what do we see out of the Terran side of things? Well, he's just getting command centers. Does he have 8 barracks? Yeah, but that took him quite a while to get 8 barracks. But that's okay. Everything else is kind of like rounded out. He's getting himself the upgrades. Blobbity, blobbity, bloobity, blue. War Prism Harass is pretty difficult to do much of anything as in MMA's shoes. But you don't really need to. As long as you just get all your upgraders, all your forges, as long as you get the gateway count high enough. I mean, what on earth can a Terran player even really hope to attack? Now this is just lucky. That's lucky as all hell. But the luck's going to run out really fast because there's not a lot of good angles for anything. As a general thematic note, MC is always getting quite a lot of gateways before aggressively taking a 4th. He is a big fan of the over-gatewayage. Remember the thing we said earlier where it's really hard to go around? Here's the moment where things have been very, very hard to go around in. The Terran player has to hope for an amazing set of EMPs. Or in this case, skill their way to an amazing set of EMPs. And the Terran kinda has to run into the storm. And this engagement was going very well for Terran until these Templars showed up. It's so hard to dodge the Templar here in these positions when it's all vertical. And then I just think a very standard counterplay from MC just to go. We see Archons being used as linchpin for aggression because there's really not that big of a chance for any sort of storm, or excuse me, any sort of EMPs to go on. Okay, so some attacking from this side. Easy to land some storms there. Colossus count pretty much hovers at 4. No huge Colossus count. It goes back pretty readily to other things. Very hard to dodge storms here. Very hard to dodge storms here. No real attacking from MC. Just chilling. Very, very, very rough game for Terran. I like the nukes. The only way that you're going to win this as Terran is to just be amazing with scans, snipes, EMPs, because both of you are going to be getting to the late game. This is the first Zealot run by all game long. Isn't that amazing? And that actually works extremely well. Big attack. The only way this is going to work is with amazing EMPs, scanning, sniping, and all this, that, and the other, but all the ghosts are dead! Go MC. I just should have X8'd this game. This is just a very straightforward game. And amazingly, MMA did a very, very, very nice job breaking through and taking that down. But the Stormers can easily get into an excellent position because there's no way to sneak around and snipe. Archons are such good units when there's no EMPs available. And there you go, already done. Boom, pow, etc. And the same Death Army we see in every match. Zealot, Stormer, Immortal, Archon, and occasionally Colossus too. Alright, cool. That was easy. What an easy analysis. I mean, like, this is one thing, let me say, this is one thing about my life that is a great example of being very fortunate. I am very fortunate. I'm very lucky to have access to the WCS replays. So I get the chance to see the best of the best in every region and to cast those games. Or not to cast, but to analyze those games. That game, you probably heard that in my voice. That was just not amazing. That game was a solid display of skill that looks a lot like a passive normal PvT. It was a passive game. There was like a notable battle and it was like, he needs to hit EMPs. He didn't hit him, he's dead. I like when there's beautiful, rich strategy and depth and sort of interesting twists and turns and changes that are going on. That game, on almost any day but today, I'd be happy with that. But just today, man, that was a normal standard game. Okay, so not mind-blowing. That is what we'll look at and call standard. That was the most standard game ever. I am so lucky to have access to WCS replays where we can see the best StarCraft players in the world do that, or not do standard play 95% of the time. To do lots of little clever additions in there. Very lucky in this finals to have only really seen one very standard by the book from start to finish kind of game. All the other games have been very exciting. So we're on Polar Night. This is the final game. MC's up 3-2. And just another nice, cute little play we're going to see out of MC. Getting his early Zealot up to deal with some reparage. No. Does the last second cancel. And the first quick expand that we have ever seen. Everything from MMA is the same thing he's done every single game. Gone for Reaper into something. Maybe Factory, maybe not. And this game is a maybe not. MC goes for the Twilight Council. Still as MMA, I want to harken back to the very early first 3 matches where MC did some serious ass all-ins. MMA has no idea what is going on right now. Has none. And now he knows everything that's going on. Very nice scan. Very good. Very well. And MMA is doing the Pult answer to Blink, which is to step forward on the map. Not to stay back and to build up these barracks, but to be active, out, moving, trying to intercept the small numbers of stalkers, because the only thing that makes Blink stalkers good is that they can be in a place where you don't want them to be and can deal damage and then get out. But if you can engage them and hurt them, most often these stalkers do not really want to be in a fight. MMA is also being pretty cute, preparing to do a little bit of counter-swingage inning. But of course, Blinks doesn't have to be all in. It can be defensive too. Plenty of options that are available. You don't have to transition into Robo Facility. You can go into Zealot Legs too. But here's where I want to say that this game, I think, represents just a consistent strategic misstep. I almost want to like leave this game and open up the Mario Prime games. So I'm going to make a statement. What is the reason behind the plummeting in Zealot Templar play? The Widow Mine. Widow Mines just rock the socks off Zealots. They kill them badly. So when MC's transitioning into this massive gateway with Zealot leg speed style, what's an MMA to do? Look at this. Is there a third command center that you see? I certainly don't. 5 racks. Delayed third command center. Is going to be able to go for Widow Mines straight away. He's going to be up against the Zealot Templar. Why has Zealot Templar fallen out of popularity so quickly? Because Widow Mines rock their socks off. But how? And that's the key answer. How is it that the mines do this? The key is for Terran to gather all of his army together, pepper mines out, spread them a little bit, and then attack one point. There's no way the Zealots can charge in there. They're going to die. If there's a storm, you can just retreat away from the storm and no one's going to be able to follow you and you can easily heal back up. Keeping everything together and then having the mines as the retreat path is what we've seen Mario use so successfully so many times. We even did it daily on it. TVP Widow Mine Focus. What we're going to see MMA do is he's going to split his army up. And the important fundamental notion in an RTS game is that sure, there's this notion of that unit beats this unit, but nothing matters as much as who has more stuff. More is the first and foremost important quality of a winning position. So here, we see that MMA is trying to split up and attack multiple fronts. MC is built to deal with attacks at multiple fronts. What he's not built to deal with is when his main army's zealot count hits 0. And there it is, 5 barracks. Factory churning out 8 barracks coming up on time in this game. It's the fastest we've seen MMA do it, I think, all series long. He begins to move in. He gets force fielded off. A lot of the zealots cannot get killed in the retreat because there's just not that many units. And there's a single Widow Mine here to defend them. A second force from MMA. These multi-pronged attacks work very well versus Colossus, but struggle so much versus high gateway counts. We see these storms emerging in. What could be a cool moment. The Widow Mines function better when there's just a larger pack of zealots. We want more stuff to hit. And soon MMA is forced to retreat away from these mines because he doesn't have all his army. MMA, even though the supply count is even, is still slowly losing ground. Going for big drops in the main base. They're not going to work because the gateway count is so high. It's so easy to just warp in answers, especially when MC is playing really defensively, as he is. So if we look at the Widow Mine count, it's down to 3. There are ghosts on the field. And I was watching this and I was like, no! Oh god, MMA! Don't... Treating the Widow Mines like this mobile part of the harassment, just like a regular old unit counter. Oh, zealots get beaten by Widow Mines. By splitting up, that really sabotaged the entire goal of the Widow Mines in the first place, which is to provide a nice, safe, healthy retreat. And I really genuinely think that MMA was in great shape to pull off a clean win. And just so I'm not speaking in abstract, let me see if I can actually get the game of Maru up and loaded. Because I think that is just a very cool thingy. Where even is this game? Rain games, Solar games, did I even do them here? Whatever, let me... So in short, I think that this was like a super cool examination of all the different ways that MC was able to pull some really nice mind games at the very start. Where are you, Maru? Where, oh where? What are we playing? Really cool example of how the mind games, by setting that precedent, made it very hard for MMA to do anything but play extremely defensively. As you'll recall from the game that we just watched, MMA was holed up in his base with bunkers and mines and all that stuff because he just was not really comfortable enough to move out. He knew that there was a pretty strong chance that there would be a potential all-in coming down the way. Ah, there you are. There's that replay. But I think that game 5, very understandable strategic mishap. Totally happens, or not strategic mishap, just very standard Protoss win. Micro mishap. Didn't get his units in the right position at the right time. Didn't get those key EMP offs and lost his army. But that last game, oh, it just breaks my heart. When those units started to split apart, I was like, no! Let's open this game up here. Recent games. Multiplayer Group B. There you are. Maru versus... Pretty sure this is it. Again, we did it daily on this exact style. The general idea is that you keep... Nope, this is the wrong game. Don't worry, I got it here somewhere. Maru... There we go. This was a one-sided game. Here we go. So you heard me talk about the idea of keeping the army together with mines, and we're going to see exactly that in action. Maru doing the only reasonable opening for Terran these days, it seems, until someone really begins to crack away at that nut. Do-do-do-do-do-do. And another barracks for you. Do-do-do-do-do-do. What do you think's gonna happen? A do-wop-bop, it's gonna be a 5-gate blink. 5-gate blink. 5-gate blink. Do-woo-do-woo-do-woo-do-woo-do-woo-woo. Like I said, a 5-gate. Do-woo-woo-woo-woo. So we're talking massive blink ups. Massive damage getting dealt. This is the man that won the GSL. Getting Maru'd to death. Meanwhile, back home, Zest being so sexy with the ground armor. There's 3rd Command Center coming up. What do you know? Mines. What do you know? Now, of course, this is the period in the game where normally we like to see the activity of the medevacs and friends, but they always stay together. They always stick as a team. Look at Zest's zealot count. Oh, it's high. A single attack angle. Obviously doing some splitting for defense, but not splitting up for offense. Do-woo-woo. Do-woo-dee-woo-dee-doo. Oh! Do you see what I see? A spread of mines before me. This is very hard for Protoss to ever attack. Easy retreat. Losses slowly piling up on the Protoss front. One angle of attack. Single one. Did you see that zealot army melt? I did. Ba-doo-woo-woo. More zealots morphing in. There's no zealots in these fights. Ba-doo-woo-woo. Very, very hard for a Protoss player to deal with mines with zealots. No zealots. Not because he hasn't been building them. In fact, he's mostly been building zealots. They just all die so quickly. Here are the zealots. Here they are. They're starting to fall. That last fight. Hold on. Let me just show. Okay, so boink. One more mine. This one. Europe. Do-do-do-do-do. Packing that together. So good. So, you know what? Let's take exactly 2 questions. Maru had great micro in that game, but I think MMA also has fantastic micro. So what we've done is we've looked at this best of 7 between MC and MMA. A lot of cool mind games that went on, so nifty. If you want to see that game that we just watched, if you want to see that analyzed, it was in the recent, it was in a recent daily. No one's really asking anything. Idle Satire asking if I'm picking up my kitties while I'm on my vacation. No. Not this time, but I'll be scouting for kitties. I'm going to find out where I'm going to be moving to. Do a little apartment hunting, because my lease is almost up. Then I'm probably going to get some kitties. Grill Kreider says, why did MMA split his army up in Game 5? Splitting your army up against Colossus is really excellent. I gave an explanation for that, I think in part 2. I assume that you're showing up late and would direct you back to that, but for an in-depth explanation. But the brief of it is that what do you need to hold off a medevac drop? Or excuse me, what do you need to hold off any force for you, the Protoss, at some point in the game? And if you go for Colossus, really the Colossus is the big key for holding off like any force. If there's a big drop in the main, you need a Colossus there. If there's an attack at the front, you need a Colossus there. So players like to split up and then just attack wherever the Colossus isn't. Whatever. I'll see you tomorrow for Hearthstone. Woo! Bye, guys.